And our next guest this morning, Mr. Petras Auštrevičius, Lithuanian MEP. Sir, always a pleasure to have you on the program. Thanks so much for joining us this morning. All right.
Very good morning, likewise.
So the elections coming up, June 9th. What can we expect on June 10th?
Well, I'm sure that Europe will survive. What will be the let's say, structure of political parties leading Europe for the next 5 years, still to be seen. Well, I agree that there are some tendencies already set which might be, seen during the vote from the 6th to the 9th of June. Means that radical right might be coming up a bit. But let's not overpush. I mean, let's wait for the last countdown of the election campaign. I'm a man who wants to see it being materialized before I would announce any victorious, political force during these elections. Indeed, it's very competitive. I agree. I'm taking part myself. There are different ideas, much opposing. Couple of tendencies probably to be noticed. First of all, this pandemia still in the mind of some radical right. They're using that argument loudly. Secondly, migration. Although not each and every country is exposed to migration challenges, but radical rights and populists are using that issue as something to frighten people, to bring it as as something setting up long-term tendencies.
Now, I wonder, because I feel like we are navigating an extremely difficult political landscape, because we are looking at European Parliament, and when coalitions are formed, well, yes. Being a leftist, for instance, in Belgium, in France, or in Poland, those are completely different things. So, and usually also now the programs of the parties that later on come together to form a coalition differ extremely. So how do we navigate this landscape? How does now European Parliament plan to operate?
You're completely right. If you take, for example, the speaking modes of one political force, which is located, representatives are coming from different member states, you might feel a lot of difference, by the way. But once those representatives come under the roof of European Parliament and form certain political groups, I think the European Parliament has a very unique, kind of instrument ability to merge, to converge different representatives and to present united manifesto or declaration, which is a main document and leading, let's say, principle for presenting political groups' points of view or kind of arguing argument in this regard. It will be not easy. I believe we will see a bit more fragmentation in the European Parliament, especially those coming from bigger member states having, kind of a bit opposing of European Union's policies. But let's see. It was rightly mentioned that right wings are less inclined for cooperation.
All right. So now let's take a look at the European Council. A lot of people scrambling for top jobs, and the top job, which is currently held by Ursula von der Leyen. What do you think are her chances of keeping the job?
It's not given. I mean, chances. I think that are big, but it's not given. I don't know how much EPP must give up in order to, to seat Ursula von der Leyen into the chairmanship kind of position. I don't know. I think it must be something big, more than before. She's experienced. Much more than she was before. Indeed, we need a kind of the strategist, somebody who has an idea, an ability to talk. So that's why my advice for Ursula von der Leyen to be more inclined to agree rather than to insist on certain position. And I believe conservatives will be not in a position to dictate agenda. They have to agree with other political groups.
And certainly the election of the Commission President will be a crucial test now for the new Parliament's political dynamics, to be sure. Now, you mentioned that there are some policy areas that will be affected now after the 10th of June, and one of them is now the environmental policies and the balance of power. I feel like will impact the EU's commitment to, for instance, European Green Deal. How will the shift towards perhaps more right-leaning assembly impact environmental policies? How do you see it?
Well, according to the forecasts, Greens are going to be almost twice smaller than they've been before. I think we might hear a bit less of pro-green political declarations in this regard. But I hope the European Union will not change completely its course on the Green Deal, although I expect some realism, especially economic realism, coming into the stage of implementation. I foresee some changes, although not hopefully, some dramatic changes shifting from one side to another. By this, we would give a bit, kind of sign of instability within the European Union. We can't change policies over the night once we believe it's real and it must be implemented.
Yeah, interesting. A lot of people predicting that the Greens will lose a lot of seats. I wonder if you have an idea, the voters, the people who previously voted for the Greens, where are they going now?
Well, I think my projection is there are new political parties. Let's say in Lithuania, we got a new party. Well, there is a Green party, but as well, the previous members of the Green group are now going to European conservatives and reformists. I can't explain it myself. I think this is a kind of a big dilemma, moral dilemma, but for them, it looks like a natural choice. So I think some voters might shift a bit more to the center and even more to the right. My assessment is that Greens a bit frightened their voters with probably over-pushing their course and probably in some operative details.
And how do you see now perhaps changes in regards to some fragmentation that we see within the European Union, for instance, now with Slovakia and Hungary teaming up and being really against the world as of now?
Yeah, it's a new tendency. Last, legislature, we had Poland and Hungary. I congratulate Poland leaving the Article 7 procedures. It's well done. But now we got Slovakia instead. And we will have to deal with it rather, in a busy manner. I don't see any fix, any easy fix in this regard. Unfortunately, Mr. Orban remains to be a kind of the troublemaker in the European Union. He likes his position. And I hope will be no more countries or government representatives joining this duo of Hungary and Slovakia, because we need more unity in, setting up policies in very decisive areas like security and competitiveness. If those countries will be, drifting away and seeing quite a fragmentation, by the way, on the side of candidates like Georgia, for example, and Serbia, we will be rather busy with those countries probably dealing bilaterally, but on the political stage, we will see a lot of different noise.
All right. Well, there's still a couple weeks left, and until the elections, we'll have a lot more time to discuss, speculations until then. But Mr. Auštrevičius, always a pleasure to have you with us. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Have a nice day.